evaluation of object detection. Okay, so let's go forward on this. So coming here, let's see this. Okay, so coming forward, like what we are now seeing is like initially when object detection problem has come up, so one basic solution which can be thought of is, let's say you have an image, and in this image you want to identify if there is a cat or a dog or anything. Okay, object, what you will be doing is, so this image, in case if you pass to your model, so if it is a classification, then it can be able to say this like classification, right? But you also need this bounding box on this. Okay, so that is quite challenging. So what people initially it has thought of is, so you'll be passing image like this, so one window at a time. So we have seen this windowing even in convolution, right? So what you do is you'll pass one window at a time, and second window, third window, fourth window, and each window, what you do is you pass to a model, and this model can be actually a CNN, a model like where you extract few features from your image, and then maybe have few layers, and then finally a kind of a classification layer. Okay, so classification can be anything like SVM you can use, or for classification, because these are features, right? So all these features you can use some kind of a classifier like SVM to, or maybe random, your wish, like it can be anything, but I'm telling like what people have used it earlier. They have used an SVM to classify between different classes. So is it there in this window? Is it there in this window? Is it there in this window? Like that, each set of your windows, one after the other, will be passing through this network, and what you'll be getting is finally, like in case if you have the cat right face here, so for that you'll be getting true, right? So you'll be getting there is an object cat in that, and you'll be getting means like there is an object. Okay, so finally they do a kind of a pre-processing where, let's say there is a cat here, right? So let me also draw this. So you'll be getting this particular box as true, and this particular box as true, right? So if you combine, what you get is a kind of a bounding box, right? So this box and this box, if you can combine, so there is a bounding box. So this is a very beginner model, like what people have done, like let's call this sliding window. Sliding window object detector. Okay, so let's say now for an object like this it is okay. So when you come to some object of a different shape, okay, so let's say you have a car. So bigger car. Okay, so in this, in case if you are seeing a part of image, like let's take the same example where we are seeing something like one square. Okay, so see this square. So just this square, if you see, it is just like this. Okay, so with this, will you be able to identify like it's a car? No, right? So it is very difficult to identify at this level. So maybe if your window size is large, it means let's say, okay, so if your window size is large and it is something like this, maybe then you will be able to identify here, right? So that there is a car in this. So if your window size is so small, again it will be difficult to identify larger. So what you are able to do is smaller window size, difficult for larger objects, right? And similarly, larger window size, then that is okay. That is why that is fine, but we won't be able to accurately localize between that smaller object. So it means like what you'll get is, larger window size, then what will happen? Inaccurate location of object, of smaller object, let's say. So it means actually, let's say you have taken larger window size, okay, like this. So but your cat is like this, so then you'll get like entire thing as a bounding box, but not this, right? So actually cat is only till here, but you are, because you are taking a larger window size, you are giving this as a bounding box, right? So that is not so accurate. So because of this, what else can be thought of is a kind of using image pyramids. So let me go with that. So image pyramids. So what this actually means is like we can actually deduce from this problem itself. So here, because like object is small, you are unable to detect. Okay, so what if we can scale that object to different sizes? Okay, so what that means is your image, let's say it's somewhere like this. Okay, so you can compress the image, right, to a smaller image, right? You can do this kind of a compression, right, to a larger image to a smaller image, as well as you can do the other way as well. So you can also make it larger as well, means stretch it, do a kind of a padding or something and make it large. Like you can do a resize option, like it is available within like what we say OpenCV as well. So what you can do is the same object, let's say it is 100 by 100, you can make it 200 by 200 as well, just that you increase the size for there, and also you can make it 10 by 10. So this is also possible. So here what you do is, for in case you have an object, so that like you fix the window size, and the same window size you apply across all the sizes. Okay, so what you are able to see here, if it is a smaller object in this case for a larger window size, in case if you zoom it bigger, what will happen is that will be big, right? So because you are stretching the image, so in that it will be able to fit, right? So similarly, while you are going for a smaller object, right? So here in this case, if there is a larger object, okay, so your car is there. So in this, for the same window size, it will be able to fit these larger objects. So this is smaller scale identifies larger objects. But if larger size, larger scale identifies smaller objects, because we are enlarging it and we are able to fit it well. Okay, so this is one way. So let's go further. So this is fine, right? So we are able to do it, but actually thing is, this sliding window, what we are doing, right? So we are doing across entire image. What we can see is like, if you see the main disadvantage of this model is, we are for you already have a bigger larger model, or for your CNN, right? So this model, you have CNN, and then many CN convolution layers, and then you have a classification layer and SVM here, right? So this is already a very large model. So, and what you're doing for every image, instead of for classification, it's just a single processing. But in case like, but what you are doing here, so for detection, what you're doing is you are making it into windows, and those windows each at a time you are taking over there, right? So it is like, maybe if you, if this has some 10,000 window, small windows, okay, so you are doing this process, entire process 10,000 times. So that is quite huge, and also we are unable to detect actual much accurately, because again you have to go for like scaling as well. For all the scales, you have to do it again. So that is also one more problem. So to avoid all this, like what has been proposed is a kind of RCNN, is like a new network which has come into picture. So which actually proposed a idea of doing a selective search. So what this selective search is, so instead of blindly, this is actually searching by brute force, right? So it means like, is this working? No, just go for next window. Is it containing object? No, it's not. That go for next window. Like that, we are actually searching in each and every window over there. So instead of that, by some kind of an algorithm, if we are able to get some kind of boxes where the object might be there, and those objects, if you can classify, use only those objects to classify, then it will be much better. Okay, so that is what this selective search will do. What it will do is, so in case if you have a kind of an image here, okay, so this may contain a scenery like image, and this won't be like this, right? So this, you have inner pixels as well being also in one way, right? So let me do it this way. There will be a tree or here, sky, something like this. Okay, anything, it can be anything. So, and each of them like won't be like normal, right? So it will have some kind of a colors. Okay, so what you'll be doing is, so maybe a car is like this. Okay, and there is black here. Okay, something like this. Okay, so what you can do is, like what this selective search will do is, do some kind of a clustering on top of this image and group the pixels which can be similar. Okay, so what it will do is, like this can be based on just pixel values, or maybe color, or maybe like many other features, like it has taken into consideration of few features, depending on which, like they actually have clustered a similar pixels together. So what will happen, if we can see, even for us, like we are able to look at this as a different, like let's say a bike. Okay, he's riding a bike like this. So we are able to classify that this is an object based on the kind of intensity of pixels here and the color of pixels here, right? So only with that we are actually able to differentiate between two objects, or maybe edges or something like this. Okay, so taking these into consideration, what has been done is, like actually they have proposed, like this selective search will do some kind of proposals, a kind of bounding boxes which are like, which may be containing an image, maybe something like this, something like this, something like this, or maybe something here, or maybe only this, like this, like this. It will give some kind of, because entire object need not be in the same color, right? So it need not be in the same intensity. So it will give some object like this, some object like this. So like this, it will give you some 2000 proposal. Okay, so these 2000, instead of like searching every corner, okay, every each and every window, like by doing this sliding, instead of doing that, you can look at these 2000 boxes, like which it would have shown, and these will also be of different shapes. Okay, so it is much better than like you again aggregate the output by making it a big larger image, like just like how we have did here, right? So maybe it has given this and we aggregated again, that is an image. So you don't have to do all those. It will give few boxes, and these boxes we have to look at these boxes. Okay, let's do that. Okay, first you have an image and you do this selective search, and there are also, other than selective search, there are few other algorithms which can be used, but this became more popular. So use this selective search, and after that what you do is, like you get these 2000 boxes. Okay, 2000 box proposal. So each box, like you extract each of the box here, and each box you can give to kind of a CNN model. So here they have used a pre-trained LXNet, so which will be able to classify between different objects, right? So it is already trained on maybe ImageNet, or I'm not sure about it. So I think it's ImageNet, or maybe Cipher dataset or something. So maybe some they have taken this model, so they can apply transfer learning again, right? So here, so they have taken this model here, and each of these 2000 images, each one after the other, they are passing through this like model, and then finally they use an SVM, like the features what you get finally, right? So instead of classifying it from there, so they pass it to an SVM, finally classify what object it is. Similarly, the second, again, one more proposal, one more SVM. For the third box, 3, 4, so on, you will have 2000 that you'll be sending. So similarly, you will have SVM 2000. So SVM 1, 2, so on till 2000. So is it available in first proposal, or is it available in second, third, like so on, 2000. So likewise, you'll be getting these, you actually have these 2000 SVMs here and 2000 images, you are passing it over there. Okay, so what we can have here is, so this again is like 2000 images you are passing, right? But along with this, like this itself is a kind of a problem, right? So you actually have to repeat the same process like 2000 times, and here you are classifying 2000 classifiers separately. You are training 2000 classifiers here, so that is also a bit headache. So along with that, still it's okay if in case if you are okay with the model complexity and all, like there is on time, there is one more issue which is belong to the accuracy of this here. So your AlexNet is actually trained for some kind of, because like these sizes are different, right? So what boxes you get are of different sizes. If you only clip that box image, what is inside it, it's of different sizes. And these sizes, what you do is, but this AlexNet or maybe VGGNet, like these require like input of fixed size. Maybe if you remember, it is 128 into 128 into 3, I think. So what we should do is, like for every box you get, you should be resizing it into that size, and that size you should be able to pass it. So let's say you have seen a cat which is like this. Okay, so and that will be resized into this way. So this you don't feel it as cat like how you feel it with this, right? So because you are resizing it, so maybe it will get stretched and it won't be so like clarity will be missing slightly, that this will be a kind of a cat. By human way, like we will be able to distinguish, but maybe the model which is trained on some set of shape and all, maybe it is not doing so accurately classifying between these stretched image. Okay, so we call it wrapping image. So okay, so this wrapped image, actually we are not able to classify because the aspect ratios are different. So because of which it is not performing good. So what else can be a solution for this? So then what happened is, then and also this selective search, and then for each of the image here you are extracting features, and those features you are, and then what actually like and this itself is a long process. Along with this, like the accuracy is not so good. So for accuracy, what they have done is they have unfreezed few layers of AlexNet or maybe VGGNet, and then finally they fine-tuned that as well. So while training, so that like the accuracy has improved, like it has your model has adopted to train for these stretched images as well. So that's how like the increase the accuracy, but still because you are passing these 2000 times and then extracting features for those and classifying SVM again, right? So this is kind of not so optimal process. So one more thing to add, like here, yeah, along with the classification, right? So this proposal, so these boxes need not be taken the same way. Like it can be something like, so each box, what you have, right? So each box, like each box in the sense is this one. So out of which there can be two ways. Like one is maybe object is here, but it has proposed this box. This can also happen, right? So out of this box, one thing is it will pass to this AlexNet maybe, and then your SVM, and you are classifying object like between different objects like cat, dog, or maybe vehicle, so on. Okay, so this classification, along with this, what will also be there is like XYWH. So these can also be an input, right? So here you have this classification problem, and similarly you have this regression problem. This is same everywhere, like in all the models what I'm about to discuss from now as well. So like here, like what it will also predict is these 4 values from which we'll be able to draw a kind of a bounding box like this. So okay, but maybe your wrapped image, like what like selective search would have proposed is something like this. Okay, grouping like all these, you don't have to take that as a bounding box, like you can do a kind of a prediction this way. Okay, and this is how like it can be done. So as I discussed like about like disadvantages on this RCNN, right? To fix those disadvantages, what it will do is slightly different approach. So what they do is like they actually eliminate the use of this like the selective approach, what you say. So doing a selective search, right? So you got a kind of a bounding box, like kind of an partial image to it, and each image what we are doing is we are passing through this CNN layers and extracting features, and then you are passing to a classifier, right? So here actually you are extracting features for a kind of a one image like 2000 times, and we are like partially like 2000 parts, and then for those like you are actually going for image, but there may be some common portion of this image, right? So if you take this bounding box and this bounding box, this may have some common portion for which you are again like repeatedly like calculating the features. So instead of extracting the features that way, what we can also do is first extract the features, and then maybe next we next do this kind of a classification, right? So this is done in case for in a fast RCNN to improve the time like it takes to do this classification. Okay, so for that what they have done is, in case you have image here, so here itself you can extract do have some convolution layers and extract features, right? So using some convolution layers, so maybe a few convolution layers, okay, need not be a single convolution layer, one convolution layer second, and then one more like this, and finally you get a kind of a feature map. So this is feature map, let's say, means it's the same image, like it is represented in some features here, right? So you have a different kind of shape like what from your image, and this image maybe from here you can do this selective search, or maybe select to search here, and those features like you can have those proposals at this level, maybe something like this, like this, like this. So what proposals what you have, right? So from select to search, maybe those are here, right? So in this case you can pass these features instead of direct images, and again anyway you will resize it. So these each of these boxes you can do the passing, right? So you can pass through this AlexNet or any net, and then finally use an SVM to classify. So this can be possible, right? So this is one improvement, and second improvement is like instead of using SVM here, so they don't use an SVM. So instead you keep one softmax layer. So how we usually do for image classification, right? So you have all the output of all, like how many classes there are, those many outputs here. So and these can be your softmax layer, right? So with that, like you don't have to train like these many SVM, and it's also SVM here. So here it's now part of neural network, like within that it's just like one more layer where you add a softmax layer and then use it for classification. So this may even learn better maybe somehow. So these kind of improvements can be done on top of like what is there earlier to get a better faster network, right? So that is called as what you say here, like that is called as a fast RCN network. So this has proved to improve performance by quite a good extent. So let me quote some kind of figures, like if you have. So RCNN actually has taken some 49 seconds for processing some image, like it's for a fixed computation. So when it has been experimented about like how faster this is and how fast this is and all, so this RCNN has taken 49 seconds. Okay, let me keep it there, like instead of here. So that is one main reason why actually like people go for want to improve that speed, right? So, and then they used this fast RCNN, and they found out the same image like is taking 2.3 seconds, right? Very cool, right? Look, actually, like from 49 seconds, you actually reduced it to 2.3 seconds, which is like quite enormous change, right? That is very much encouraged, right? So such kind of changes are needed. So this is quite good. So what else can be done? Like, are there any other improvements which can be done now in case of fast? That is quite good. So are there anything else which we can do to improve this model? For that thought, like what they found out is, here you have regional proposals which are done by a selective search, which was a kind of an algorithm, unsupervised algorithm, which will cluster the points, right? So together. So why not, like that can also be learned by the network itself instead of having it proposals like that. So maybe why not like have that within a network itself. That with that thought has made to propose like this new architecture where you have an image. So instead of using a kind of an selective search here, what they do is they use a network again to propose this bounding boxes. Okay, so that is called as like, first initially anyway these conv layers are there, right? So you have a few conv layers, so which will give you the feature map. So this is same, this is all same. Okay, feature map. And to this, the proposals, how you will be getting is you use a kind of, let me add this point. So previously we used a selective search, and we are proposing like boundaries for uh, your boxes, right? So now what you do is you add something else here. So what you do is add a network. Again, it can be a stack of like few convolution layers and all. You call this network RPN, which was region proposal network. So which what it will do is it will give you these boxes, what it used to be, right? So previously, so these boxes it will give it, this will propose. So this is again bounding box proposal is like XYWH, right? So using those you are able to get these feature maps. And these feature maps, what you do is you use it. So, and one more thing what is needed is like here you got these bounding boxes, right? So instead of using LXNet here, one more small improvement what it can do is like a kind of, so it has actually been implemented here itself. So I actually forgot to tell that. So this is one improvement. So improvement one is here. Improvement one. Okay. So here is improvement one. Here is second improvement, and there is one more improvement which can be done at this level. Okay. So here instead of doing that way, what they use is ROI pooling. So because like here we have seen that like we are passing 2000 images one after the other. That is one more drawback what we have seen, right? So that is also eliminated by keeping a ROI pooling layer. So what it will do is on top of feature maps. So you have these feature maps here, right? So which is this one. So these feature maps, so you pass through this ROI pooling layer, and then your classifier, like just like softmax what you have, right? So that will continue. And like maybe you keep few, instead of LXNet keep some fully connected layers as well, like this can also be fine. So this is a different case, like, but our concentration is here. So what it will do is they keep an ROI pooling layer. So ROI is these ROIs, regions of interest rate, what it has proposed. So on this, like what it will do is it will try to do a pooling, like kind of a max pooling on top of it, and make a single larger image with those features. Okay, so those as a kind of a features, what it will do is, here is the third difference. So what it will do is, so instead of these, so it will be a single image, like because we have this ROI pooling here. So and that output will be passing through image. Like, so ROI pooling, actually what it will do, like we know what like pooling will do, right? So it will ROI pooling. So a kind of max pooling if you take. So if what ROI pooling will do is, like, let's say this is first introduced in fast RCNN. So what this do is, like, let's say you have a kind of a proposal of your image, right? So let's say in a kind of a feature map, you have some proposal like this. Okay, so it is actually a three-dimensional. That you can also have a kind of a depth here, right? So in this kind of a depth of your feature map, you also have a depth here. So where it will is something like this. Okay, so out of this pooling layer, so what this pooling layer is supposed to mean is, like, actually, like, you have to resize your feature into a shape of what is expected to the next layers. Okay, so and what mainly, because like this is needed because like your selective search will propose, or maybe a kind of an RPN layer which you will be using in like faster RCN. So what it do is, like, the proposal sizes will be like of different shapes, maybe something like this, and one maybe like this. So these kind of shapes like may come up. So but all these, like, finally it should be of a same size, like, which is accepted by the next layers, right? So we need to do some kind of a reshaping to this. So for that, what we do is we use this ROA pooling. So what this ROA pooling will do is, so let's assume that this particular like here is like 20 by 15. Okay, let's say, and you want it to be resized to something like 7 by 7. Okay, so which is like finally accepted feature here. So maybe a shape here. So let me convert like how ROI pooling will convert this 7 by 7 like 20 by 15 shape of like feature map into a 7 by 7 feature map. So let's see that. So how it will do is, like, let's say in case we have values of 20 by t, so it will actually make a kind of a conversion here. So making this entire 20 by 15 into kind of a 7 by 7 grid. So which means like 20 by 7, which will be if you see, like, if it is 3 it will be 14. Sorry, it will be 3 if it is 21, but if it is 20 it will be 2 point something, right? So what it will do is maybe make two, till 2 2 each, and then like 3 3 each, and then like something like 2 at last. So that will actually make you make maybe it'll take a smaller example here. So where something like, so even this will work. Like what you should be doing is maybe three boxes in one row, 1 2 and 3, and as one grid, and similarly one more 1 2 and 3 like second grid, like 1 2 and 3 one more grid like this. You actually form 7 grids, 1 2 3 4 5 6, and the last grid, like, you won't be having 3 because like you'll be having only 2 here. Okay, that is accepted, doesn't matter. So entirely, like, if you take, there will be 20, so those are divided into 7 parts, and these 7 parts similarly, in this case, like here there are 15, right? So those 15 again, there it will be like divided by 7, which is 2.1. So you take 2 each time. So maybe 2 rows, like first 2 rows as one grid here. Similarly, one more 2 rows as second grid here. So likewise, you make a kind of a partition, and the last one will be a single. So there will be only one row in the last, because like you have an odd item here. So in this case, like, what you do is something like this. It can be done, or maybe what you can have is, like, let me talk it with a simple example where you have something like this, and you want to make which is like 3 1 2 3 4 5 5, and here it is 3. Okay, so this matrix of like 3 by 5, you want to convert it into something like 2 by 2. Let's say, take this simpler example. So where what you can do is, if you you divide like 5 by 2, which will be 2.5, right? So what you can do is 2.5 in one, like which you can't do. So you make 3 in one and 2 in another. So this is one and this is one more. Okay. And similarly here 3 by 2 is like 1.5. So you can't split it into 1.5. So you make 1 in one side and 2 in another side. So maybe 2 here and 1 here. So something like that. So, and what you have is this entire thing is a first box. This entire thing can be a second. This can be a third, and this can be fourth. Okay. So these four, what you can have is something like this. So let's say like this, have these numbers like this. So 1 2 3 minus 10 20, so there only minus, so 50 30 to 5 40 randomly. I'm just giving few numbers. So out of these, like what we can do is this entire box, like in the first box, so take the maximum, like the maximum value here, so will come here. So if it is a max pooling, so maximum of these values will be 50. And similarly, if you take the second case, maximum of these values will come here. So maximum of these is like 5. So you are actually consolidating this into like 3 by 5 matrix into a 2 by 2 matrix. So where the maximum of this is 30 and maximum of this is like 100. So this is how actually your size of a different proposal is reshaped to a fixed size by using a RY layer of 2 by 2. Okay. So those were passed through this ROI layer, which will do a kind of a reshape, like by doing this kind of consolidation, like through max pooling. And then what it'll do is that output of that ROI pooling will be passed through this LXNet or maybe a fully connected layers and then a softmax to do a kind of a detection and classification. So those are actually like same way, like these things will be there here. Like I'm just not representing it again and again. So you have both like bounding box regression as well and bounding box classification as well. Okay. So after this, what you'll be doing is, in case of here, so again the same way, like you have these region proposals, right? So these region proposals along with like what values you have along with the feature map, what you do is do this ROI. So ROI pooling, and finally give to classifier. So I'm just mentioning it as classifier, which can be a few like values here, and then classifier, and then regression and as well as regression. Okay, which will be X, Y, W, H, as well as classification is C. Okay, so this is how faster RCNN will be working. So and it has proved to be much faster compared to previous one. So that's why it's called like faster RCNN, and it will be much more accurate as well. Like here, because like already there is a significant decrease in the time it takes to run, right? So apart from that, this actually will also improve the accuracy by quite a large extent, because instead of depending on some outside algorithm for like kind of a selective search or some other algorithm for training your model, you maybe use your own network to propose the do the proposals. Okay, so that is one more thing, like why actually your accuracy has increased to quite a large extent. So and surprisingly, the time taken to process one image for the same image which has taken like 49 and here 2.3 seconds is just 0.2 seconds here. So that much faster it is. So from where did we come where, like it is almost taking a minute to process, and here now not even a second. Okay, so we have came to such a better position in like doing a classification here. Okay, so let's take the same. Okay, so this is about like faster RCNN. So and as we discussed now, it has proved to improve accuracy by quite a good extent. Okay, so let's like what else can be done. Okay, so yeah, actually what you can do is like for most of object detection problem, this is very good choice to take. Like faster RCNN is very accurate in terms of accuracy as well, and fast also is like quite good, right? So and but still there is some kind of improvements which were proposed. Like till here, it is like two layer network. So what we can say is, so till like RCNN, fast RCNN, and faster RCNN. So these were actually two-stage networks. So one for proposal, so region proposal, and second one for classification regression. Okay, so there are like two different kinds of like possibilities, like networks used here, because here you can see this RPN network, right? And then this is a two-stage process. Okay, so and even if you see here, it's selective search and then using this classification. Here again selective search and then classification. So it's a two-stage process here. So and there is like one more different thing like which was proposed. So one more kind of an architecture, so which was called YOLO. YOLO actually means you only look once. So which means a single stage process for object detection. So you only look it once. It means like here we are looking it twice, but here you only look it once. So that's the only difference. Like actually, like that's why like signify that like it is a single stage process. It was named as YOLO, means you only look it once. Okay, so let's see like what this YOLO will do. So, okay, coming to this YOLO, what YOLO will do is like it's a single stage process. So, which means there won't be a kind of a region proposal here. So, directly, if you have an image, so this image will finally get, you will have a kind of a model which should be able to give you a classification as well as a regression, means like C as well as X, Y, W, H. Okay, so these things it should be able to give. So let's see how it will be able to give. Okay, so how actually the process is, because like we are not doing any region proposals where actually we should do, and that region proposals actually solve this sliding window problem. Okay, so now we are not using sliding window because we have much better solution, which was region proposal. So on region proposal is a kind of a two-stage process. Now we are saying that we will do it in a single stage. So how actually we can do? So for that, what has been done is, so each image, let's say if you take an image, so this image, it's slightly, you can get a feel of sliding window approach here, but it's not that way. So you split it into some grids, okay? Kind of a grid. Here we did like 4. Let me increase it. Okay, so this is your image where we have classified into 5 by 5 grid. Let's assume that 5 by 5, it can be anything. So usually odd number, like they take this way, and in this grids, like what they do is, for each of the box, so they actually develop introduced a concept called like anchor boxes. So what this anchor boxes is, sir, for each of the box here. So first initially, let's say it looks treat like we are here. For each of these, so from center, let us say, it will have like we will propose some kind of boxes. Let's initially talk about one box. Okay, so it will try to do a kind of a regression to it where you get like XYWH over here. So it will try to let's say if there is an image, like usually if you make it as a grid, okay, so usually your object won't contain within this region, right? So it will be much farther, right? So what it will do is, from here it will try to give some kind of a box like this. Okay, so which will have like xy. If you take this, so this w and this h, it will try to give one box this way, and the ratio of your box is actually here. There you can set a kind of a ratio, like how the aspect ratio of your box will be, like means width to height ratios. So it can be like 1:1, 2:1, 1:2. These are the usual anchor box ratios which they will use. What they do is, like here it means like you have three boxes, so each box, it means like it's anchor box, like each anchor box means like one box you will be getting. Okay, so in a ratio of 1:1, here it is 2:1. Okay, so it's mostly like these are like two times, this is one times 1:2. So w by h ratio is 1/2 here, so it is 1:2 kind of a box here. So similarly, you may also have some box like this. Okay, so something like this. So maybe also you can have one more box this way. Okay, it will actually, like, it doesn't fix these numbers. Okay, like how much distance, like how much proposals and all. What it will do is, so it will divide your class image into like 7 grids, but it doesn't mean that it will process like each part separately. You will have this image. So you use some con features, again some con features, and these actually finally, okay, like let's going forward. So for each of the box, like we were saying that you can have three boxes, right? So let's assume for like single box, let's see for a single box for anchor which is 1:1, you can have like x, y, w, h, and for that you can have one class like which can be classification, right? So let's keep it separately. So these are the things which you can have. So there can be a box like where is a regression for a box, and as well as you can have like for a second anchor. Okay, this is for one anchor. You can have the same thing for second anchor, W2, H2, and similarly for the third anchor. This is first anchor, second anchor, third anchor. So X3, Y3, W3, H3. So like that for each grid here, it will propose three boxes. And these three boxes, actually the starting point, the width and height again will be through regression. It doesn't mean that it will start from here and it will move. I just wrote it that way, like for understanding purpose. But actually the X can start here, and from here it can go anywhere. Okay, so like that it will calculate this XYWH, and finally what you have is this is one box, this is second box, likewise there will be a third box as well. So what it will do is, like again for each of these box there can be a class, right? Class 1, class 2, class 3 means like first box it will it can probably what class it can be. Similarly for second box and third box. So now let's see, let me go much more deeper here. So what it will have is, like in case of you have an image, like you divide it into some kind of grid like 5 by 5 or like 7 by 7. It can be, usually these are the values which people use. So and each like grid, what you can have is a kind of an anchor boxes. It means your box can have some certain shape like this, certain shape like this, or certain shape like this. Okay, and these values, like it usually can start at center of a image, like center of a grid. Let's say you have a grid here, it can start like center of a grid here, and it can extend anywhere, like depending on your regression values, x, y, w, h, right? So you have w, you have h. Okay, and this value what you have, right, xy. So this xy, so usually like you initially assume that it is a grid center. Okay, so grid center can be something like 1, 1. Let's assume that way. So this 1, 1, but maybe your object may start from here. So what you do is, there can be like this xy will actually predict a kind of an offset to this. So how much like 1 plus x comma this value, like usually take center as cx comma cy. Okay, so what it will do is x plus cx comma y plus cy, and then W and H it will predict, right? So with these, like you'll be getting a kind of a box. Okay. So, and this box, and then for each of the box, you should also classify like what class it has, right? That's C. So is it a cat or dog or something? So like that, it will do a kind of a classification. So here, why do we use this kind of anchor boxes here is because we don't have any region proposals, and still we want, and we don't want to do kind of a sliding window approach. So what you do is, for each of the grid here, we propose like there can be boxes like this, like this, like this, like that. We can put like how many anchors you want, or maybe like one more anchor, like which can be of ratio 3:1 or 1:3, like the both ways, like it can be horizontal or vertical, right? So taking 5 anchors, so you'll have 5 boxes. So in case if your grid size is S by S, you'll have S by S into, means like S by S grids, right? So for each grid, you will have like boxes of number of anchors, and each like let's say like number of anchors are 5, and for each like X, Y, W, H as well as C, which means 5, right? So you will have 5 total, these many outputs from your model. So it means you take an image, and this image you pass to YOLO. So this have outputs like this. So these outputs can be X, Y, W, H, means like X, Y, W, H, and C. Similarly, X, Y, W, H, and C, like this. So like C is like kind of a probability for that model. Okay. So along with this, there is also a probability for your confidence level for your bounding box as well. So there is one more output which it will come. So that is a kind of a confidence score for your bounding box. Okay. So this is how usually YOLO will work. So in case if you give a model, you train this model, and like you need these values already available with you, and those values you finally use it to kind of learn this. But in this, like if you see, if you take like these grids, right? So these many grids, okay. So here, let's say 5 by 5, which will be have like 25 boxes. So 25 grids. So and each grid, let's say there are like 3 anchor boxes. So 5 at 25 into 3, we have 75 boxes over there. So 75 boxes is like so many things, right? So if you have an image, if you have 75 boxes, that is not how many images it will be, right? Usually you will have maybe 2 images, 3 images, something like this. So maybe like this. How we have to again do some kind of a post processing to get from these many. So how you will do is, you do something like non-max suppression. This is again common for all previous faster RCNN and others also. Non-max suppression. So what it will do is, let's say you have box with the probability 0.7, and you also have one more box which was shown like this with probability 0.6. And if you have these two boxes mostly common, it will ignore this box. It will ignore this box. Oh, okay. So this is like with confidence score 0.6, it will ignore this box and only take this box home. Okay. So that is how like it will start minimizing your boxes. So and it will start repeating, like each box will be compared with every other box over there, and finally you'll be getting only the boxes which have less common area, means like which doesn't have more common areas, and have like same like higher common score. Okay, confidence score. Okay, so this is what maximum suppression concept is. So they use this, and this common area, what you call is, like in case if you have one box and more box, right? So this is what is the common area, right? So usually you measure it by IOU, which is intersection over union. So this is one kind of a measure between two boxes, which actually is intersection is this area, right? So how much of this area is there to like the whole area? So it is this. So a combination of two boxes. So intersection, area of intersection by area of two union. So this is how is a measure to calculate between how much of depending on this, like you eliminate the boxes which first what you do is eliminate boxes of confidence than 0.5. You directly eliminate those, and you eliminate the boxes which are having IOU. This is a kind of a measure IOU with 0 to 1. So which is greater than 0.75, something like this. We can keep a threshold. On top of that, what you can do is, and keep the B box with maximum confidence score. So likewise, what we do is, first, in case in a image, you have a box like with points. So like score, you have one more with 0.2 IOU score, like a confidence score, and this one with 0.6. Let's say this way, like we have something like this. So in the first step, this get eliminated because like confidence score is less. And next part, like what it will do is, like it will also these two, they will calculate the IOU, and this IOU means like when it is more than near to 1, it means both boxes are almost close to each other. Means one box is like this and second box is like this. It means both are having like more overlap. Then your IOU will be like near to 1. Okay, so when your IOU is closer to 1, okay, so let me put another box here and put confidence of 0.6. This is 0.8. Okay, let's say this way. So what it will do is, this box get eliminated because with this box and this box, this has like more IOU, like almost towards 1. So that gets eliminated. And after this, now it will calculate between this box and this box, next remaining boxes. So this and this. So here there is not much IOU. Like let's say that is not crossing this threshold, it will stay. So what you finally have is something like this. Image, you have 0.7, you have some more bounding box of 0.6. So this may contain some image, this may contain one more image. Like you may have something like this, and finally you can out. This is your output. So this is how finally you do this object detection. Okay. So, and what you do for training is, here it is a single step process, right? So there is no issue with training, just that you have your bounding boxes, and finally you pass it on to this network, get these values like how is, and then regression loss applied over here and classification loss applied over here. So that way you finally you'll be able to get your output. So that is how object detection works. And like there are like very good pre-trained models available for YOLO, and there are like much more like advanced state of like algorithms for YOLO has come. There are like few improvements done to this, like which is like YOLO version 1, which is version 1 if you take. Then there is version 2 and version 3 also got released, like which were performing much better than this. So like there is small disadvantage with YOLO is like when it does not, it won't, it performance is poor for smaller object. So this is what is a problem for, but mostly YOLO is very accurate in most of the cases, but for a smaller objects, like this is not performing well. Okay, so but in that case, like you can go for faster RCNN, or else